Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. I am back, new and improved through the power of the internet. As you can see, I have a thing set up behind me. It's kind of a failure at setting up a green screen. However, that is eventually going to come. Why? Because they are super cheap and my job allows me to do it. So, last we left off, we did have something planned. I love my dog. I really do. It's kind of storming out, so he's not exactly in a good mood. But I love him. But we do have something new, courtesy of our friends at mythictrap.com. That's right, guys. These people are not like Wowhead. They don't have a lot of backing from Blizzard. These people are just super nerds, and they have given us one of the best things that I've ever seen. Extremely useful as well. Why is that dog? I have to go check something, man, because that's my other dog. She normally never barks. These wonderful people over at Mythic Trap have made a talent preview. As you can see, these are the Druid talent trees, the Resto talent tree. So if you're Balance, it kicks you over to here. If you're Feral, it kicks you over to here. If you're Guardian, it kicks you over to here. Now, the only problem that it seems to have is resetting, which you just have to right-click to do. So I've already gone over some of this with the Druid yesterday, so now we're going to do the DK today. So, Death Knight, again, I'm just going to go over the choice ones. The choices for here are Runic Empowerment. Each runic power you spend has... make sure I get all of that in frame. It's kind of tough right now. So the choices are Runic Empowerment. Each runic power you spend has a 2% chance to instantly grant you a rune, or Runic Corruption. Each runic power you spend has a 1.6% chance to increase your rune regen by 100% for 3 seconds. Personally, I would go with Runic Corruption. And then over here you have Death's Reach, which increases the range of Death Grip and killing resets it. Or Grip of the Dead, Death and Decay reduces movement speed. And then over here you have the, I think this is Blood Tree. Blood Drinker drains health from the target. You can move, parry, dodge, and use defensives while channeling. Or Consumption strikes all enemies in front of you with a hungering attack that deals physical damage and heals you for 150%. Deals reduced damage beyond 8 targets. So that's very interesting. Like, again, I don't play Blood DK, so I don't know if like one of them's amazingly better and the other isn't. Mark of Blood places a Mark of Blood on an enemy for 15 seconds. The enemy's damaging auto attacks will also heal their victim for 3% of the maximum health. 1 second. Okay, so Tombstone. Consume up to 5 Bone Shield charges. For each charge, you gain 6 runic power and absorb damage equal to 6% of your maximum health for 8 seconds. So it's up to 30%, which isn't bad. Then we get Voracious. Death Strike's healing is increased and grants you Leech for 8 seconds, which is pretty good. I think you're going to be Death Striking more than once every 8 seconds, so you're going to keep that Leech up. Bloodworms. Your auto attacks have a chance to summon a Bloodworm. They deal minor damage and then burst, healing you. If you drop below 50% health, they will automatically burst and heal you. I really like this ability, mainly because it was just so fun to see Bloodworms happen, man. It's a fun ability. I'm happy it's there. So that's blood, right? That's blood. Now, Next is Frost. Frost, the choices are Frigid Executioner. Obliterate has a 10% chance to refund 2 runes. Rage of the Frozen Champion. It has a 15% increased chance to trigger Rime and Howling Blast. And Howling Blast generates 8 runic power while Rime is active. Okay, so that's a bit better. I know what Rime is. Rime's their free proc. Gain an Exorable Assault every 8 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. Obliterate consumes a stack to deal additional frost damage. Okay. Every 2 seconds, gain a stack of Cold Heart, causing your next Chains of Ice to deal frost damage. Stacks up to 20 times. Okay, that's pretty interesting. It's a lot like the Windwalker Monk and the Emperor Capacitor, which is like, hey, you deal damage. The more stacks you have, the more damage you deal. So I kind of missed that ability. Then you have Avalanche and Frozen Pulse. Avalanche, casting Howling Blast with Rime, causes jagged icicles to fall on enemies near your target, dealing frost damage. Okay, so that's a little bit of AoE. Then we have another one, Piercing Chill. Enemies suffer 5% increased damage from Chill Streak each time they are struck by it. Enduring Chill. Chill Streak's bounce range is increased by 2 yards, and each time Chill Streak bounces, it has a 20% chance to increase the maximum number of bounces by 1. What is Chill Streak? It deals frost damage to the target and reduces their movement speed by 70% for 4 seconds. Costs 40 runic power. It bounces up to 9 times between closest targets within 6 yards. Pretty interesting. It's also very interesting that you have a choice node for the new ability, so I think Chill Streak is a new ability. Then you have Obliteration! While Pillar of Frost is active, Frost Strike and Howling Blast always grant Killing Machine and have a 30% chance to generate a rune. Ice Cap. Your Frost Strike, Obliterate, and Frost Scythe crit strikes reduce the remaining cooldown of Pillar of Frost. What's Frost Scythe? What would you say Frost Scythe is? I don't know what Frost Scythe is. 1 second. Okay, sorry, I have a neighbor. That's what's setting my dog off. Frost Scythe isn't in here, but essentially Frost Scythe is... Oh, there it is. Frost Scythe. A sweeping attack that strikes all enemies in front of you. It benefits from Killing Machine. Critical strikes of Frost Scythe deal extra damage. Reduce damage beyond 5 targets. I like that. I really like Frost Scythe. Now, let's go to Unholy. I don't like the Unholy tree, personally, because you only get 2 choices. Unholy Pact. Dark Transformation creates an Unholy Pact between you and your pet, igniting flaming chains that deal shadow damage over 15 seconds to enemy between you and your pet. While active, your strength is increased by 3%. Not that much, right? Defile. You know, it's Defile, it makes everything an AoE, and the more people in it, it grows in damage. Bursting Sores. Increase to Bursting a Festering Wound, and it essentially, it's your AoE. Ebon Fever. Your plague deals more damage in half the duration. Okay. Now, let's look at what we can do to have fun with this. So let's say we are a Frost DK, or a Blood DK, right? We are a Blood DK. So, what can we do with our, I don't know, our 31 points, right? What can we do with our 31 points? Well, obviously, we're taking Anti-Magic Shell. Let's take Veteran of the Third War. Now, we need to spend 5 points in order to move on there. So, let's see, Leech or Avoidance. Wraithwalk, which is speed, Sacrificial Pact, you sacrifice your ghoul. So that can be very interesting. Or, we can go for Permafrost. Your auto attack damage gives you a shield, or it creates a death pack that heals you for 50% but absorbs incoming healing. So let's say that we're going for like the healing stuff, right? So I need to spend 3 more points. I could go for Mind Freeze, which isn't the Interrupt. Interrupts are very good, and that would give me Icebound Fortitude, which is very strong defensive. So I'd take Chains Vice, Mind Freeze, and Icebound. That would open up the bottom part of the tree where I could take Anti-Magic Zone. I could also increase my crit. And then I could take Runic Empowerment or Runic Corruption. It looks like the talent calculator hasn't figured out the choice part yet. I mean, it's still working, which is more than I can say for Wowhead. So I could take that, and then Death's Advance, or Asphyxiate, or Anti-Magic Barrier. We'll go with Anti-Magic Barrier. It reduces the cooldown of Anti-Magic Shell, which is a big thing for defensive. It's magic mitigation, which a lot of the tanks are currently suffering with if you're not a monk. But Blood DKs, you know you're going to be able to rock it. And then here, Assimilation. It just boosts it, so you're like super ultra defensive. We still need to spend 7 more points. I'm not going to worry about Death's Advance or Asphyxiate because they're not really interesting to me. We could take Blinding Sleet, but that's just a CC. Chains Vice affects additional enemy. Permafrost, we'll take that Permafrost. We'll go with Suppression because that gives us more stuff. Wraithwalk might be useful, but you know what? I'm going to go Sacrificial Pact. Then we're going to pick up the Ghoul and Improved Death and Decay. And then you see, I don't care about add some movement buff, but there are some bosses where you don't need movement. And then even then, you can just take Death's Advance over Wraithwalk. Wraithwalk isn't that good. We'll take Brittle, and then we'll take Unholy Ground for the increased haste. Now we have, what, 10 more points we can use here. Take Anticipation and Acclamation just for the defensive. And then we can go for A-Bomb Limb. We still have 8 points available, so we can easily go for A-Bomb Limb. Or we could go for Empowered Room Weapon. Or we could go for both. Okay, so that is our current setup. Now, the thing with this current setup, we can always take points out. We can always not take that one, not take that one, and not take Suppression. Right? We can choose to not take Suppression. Take a Runic Attenuation. We can take Horn of Winter. Let's take Will of the Necropolis. And we'll take Will of Necropolis and Horn of Winter. There you go. That's also one. Is this possibly a terrible build? Yes, but that's just generic. You could have this no matter what spec you were, right? You could easily have this. I don't know why my dog's freaking out now. So now we go here. Take both Marrowrend and Blood Boil, just because. Foul Bulwark, Crimson Scourge. I still need to spend 5 points to be able to move down. We'll obviously be spending 3 points to move down there so we can get to Vampiric Blood. Some targets have a chance to make your next Death and Decay, cost no runes. Charge, so we'll go more defensive. We'll go more defensive, you know? Could we also do this? Yeah, we could. We'll go down here for Rune Tap. Now we can pick up Vampiric Blood, which is definitely something that we need. We could go for Blood Tap, but I don't know, we might not need it. What does Blood Tap give us? Access to Blood Drinker. And well, this might be it. Death's Caress. Reach out, dealing shadow damage and applying Blood Plague, generating 2 Bone Shield charges. That's good. That goes along with regular Bone Shield. That works with Bone Shield. Then we move into, like, that area. Oh, fuck. Can I? There we go. Okay. So, yeah, we'll take Bloodworms. And then Consumption. And take that. Now we have 3 points required. That requires us to keep Bone Shield charges. But we can't use that because we didn't. Yeah, we'll choose Tombstone. So now we can essentially get everything. Don't need Heartbreaker. This is more defensive. Rapid Decomp, your Blood Plague and Death and Decay deal damage more often. Additionally, it leeches more health. Dancing Rune Weapon, you gain 40% parry chance. That's not good for magic. Right, that's not good for magic. Gorfine's Grasp. Obviously gonna pick that up. And then Rapid Consumption, just because Blood Plague gives you more leech. Then Shattering Bones. We can pick up Bone Storm. There's Heartrend into Everlasting Bond. But we need Dancing Rune Weapon for that. And this one is Tightening Grasp, which is relatively powerful. And that goes into Purgatory, which might be okay, you know, during progress. So you can do that. You can go through and not pick up Dancing Rune Weapon, but you probably will, unless you are facing a purely magical boss. Red Thirst reduces the cooldown on Vampiric Blood by up to 2 seconds per 10 runic power spent to rank talent. So, what's Vampiric Blood? Yeah, Vampiric Blood. So that's a really powerful thing. It's really powerful for 10 seconds. So, I think that's like a 2-minute cooldown or something. Unquenchable Thirst. And that's, you know, gives you Vampiric Blood. And then a little power to your Bone Shields. So, that's one way to build blood. This talent calculator is amazing. I do suggest that all of you wonderful people check out mythictrap. These guys, actually, they make really cool raid guides too. I love this. Quick strat, fight overview, heroic changes, phase 1. Oh, you know, Genesis rings, dimensional tear, hyperlight, spark nova. You know, recap and positioning. Dimensional tear, there's dimensional tear. You move through, then you chill out, then you go back, you fight, glyph of relocation, That's great. Again, these guys are wonderful. This is a wonderful resource, and I suggest you guys go to them, especially for talent calculators in the future, because they also have. Go back. They also have the Druid calculators. You can also do everything I did with the DK with the Druids. You can make a kind of defensive Feral Druid. You can make a Feral Druid with Boomkin. Oh, but you're missing out on big stuff needed for Feral. Kind of. Missing out on stuff that you can use to build combo points. So you kind of, but you don't miss out on finishers. Like, and this leads to something else that I'm going to talk about in another video. But I just want to say, mythictrap, these guys are amazing. Thank you to the commenter that reminded me these guys exist. I haven't gone here since our raid lead told us to, but they have amazing resources. They've got stuff for the dungeons and everything, and I really like this talent calculator. And just for just for comparison. This is what we get at Wowhead. That is what we get at Wowhead. That's not really talking shit now, is it? Because people are like, hey, you know, Wowhead has their people go on. It's like, listen, people pick on us. It's like, yeah, I'd pick on you too. You're kind of dicks, especially the people that you have go on there, and like, here are our guide writers talking about this discussion. Let's have a first look at the Preservation Evoker and some first impressions. First impressions with what? With what? We know how one ability works. That is beyond, like, intellectually dishonest, right? Like, back when they were working on getting us that tree mount, right? Back when Blizzard was doing that, and Blizzard showed pictures of them working on it. Wowhead posted about their article on Twitter, and then they posted it again the next day with like a censored version of the picture, and people click on that just to see the picture. So I put the picture and things like, there you go. Well, some people don't like spoilers. Spoilers? No, it's nothing about spoilers. It's about the fact that you want more ad revenue from people clicking on your shit. And I get it, you need to make money, but I hate it. There's a couple other things. I'm going to cover it in a different video, but I just wanted to get this Death Knight stuff out. Again, mythictrap, great people.